You ever watch someone fight so hard that you're not sure if they're gonna make it? Patrick O'Connell was that man. 47 years old, Boston-born, blue-collar to the bone. And he didn't know it yet, but his life was about to get a whole lot worse before it got better. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have answers. All he had was his boy, Liam, and the desperate need to give him something better than this. But he had no idea how. This is what broke looks like. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's eviction notices taped to your door that you pretend not to see. It's starting your car 4 times in the freezing cold, praying it catches. It's working 2 jobs that don't pay enough for 1 life. Patrick drove rideshare all day until his night job started. Loaded trucks all night at the depot until the sun came up. Steel-toe boots falling apart, hands shaking from too much coffee and not enough sleep. But when Liam woke up for school, Patrick always had that smile ready. "Morning, champ. Sleep like a rock or a sack of potatoes." And Liam would laugh. God, that laugh. That's what Patrick lived for. That's what made all of it worth it. But the second Liam walked out that door, the mask came off. Bills everywhere. Rent 3 months overdue. Car insurance lapsed. And then, the voicemail from Liam's school counselor. "Patrick, we need to talk about Liam. He's carrying a lot of stress lately." Those words hit him like a freight train. His son was suffering. Because of him. Because he couldn't provide. Because he was failing at the one job that mattered. Patrick sat at that kitchen table staring at those bills until the words blurred. He wasn't just tired. He was drowning. And nobody was coming to save him. Then something happened. A passenger in his rideshare mentioned the Boston Energy Guild, solar installation, infrastructure work, union track benefits, stability, real money. Patrick looked it up on his phone during a break, hands trembling as he scrolled. Interviews this month only. This was it. This was the shot, the one chance to pull them out of the pit. He called his sister to watch Liam for the first interview. She canceled last minute. He brought Liam with him. The receptionist said, "We can't have kids inside, sir." He left, defeated, but not done. Interview number 2. He showed up soaked to the bone, freezing rain. His car had stalled half a mile back, and he'd pushed it in the cold until his lungs burned. He looked like death. They sent him home politely, kindly, like you dismiss a ghost. Interview number 3. He overslept, exhausted from another double shift. Liam shook him awake gently. "Dad, you said you had the interview today." Patrick checked his phone. 2 hours late. He'd missed it. He sat on the edge of that bed, and for the first time, he felt the weight of shame crushing him. Not anger, not frustration. Shame. That night, Liam watched his father try to fix the car by flashlight in the driveway. Patrick's knuckles split open on the engine. Blood dripped onto the concrete. He slammed the hood so hard the whole car shook, then immediately turned to Liam and apologized. But it was too late. Liam wasn't scared of his father. He was scared for him, scared of what would happen if Patrick finally broke. And Patrick saw it in his son's eyes, that fear, that worry, and it destroyed him inside. Because a boy shouldn't have to fear for his father. A boy should feel safe, protected. And Patrick couldn't even give him that anymore. Eviction notice on the door. 72 hours. That's all the time they had. Patrick came home to find Liam sitting on the stairs, holding a red piece of paper. Eviction notice. The boy's eyes searched his father's face for answers, for hope. Patrick forced a smile. "We'll sort it out. Don't you worry, champ." But when Liam went inside, Patrick's face collapsed. The walls were closing in. The next morning, the Toyota finally gave up. Steam poured from the hood on the expressway on-ramp. Dead. Patrick called his warehouse job, voice shaking. "I'm stuck. Can someone cover me?" The manager's voice was flat, tired. "Patrick, this is the third time. We can't keep you on." Fired. Over the phone, just like that. And then the final blow. Liam's school counselor sat Patrick down in a small office with fluorescent lights humming overhead. She spoke gently, carefully. "Patrick, maybe someone else can help care for Liam while you get stable." Someone else. The words echoed in his head. She was telling him he wasn't enough, that he was failing so badly that his son would be better off without him. Patrick nodded, smiled politely, shook her hand. Then he walked into the bathroom, locked himself in a stall, and finally, he broke. Quiet sobs into his sleeves where no one could hear. This was rock bottom. This was the end. But something happens when you hit rock bottom. You realize there's nowhere left to fall. Patrick went home and pulled out his father's old acoustic guitar from under the bed, the one his old man had taught him to play on, the one he'd promised to give Liam one day when the time was right. He stared at it for a long time, then he took it to the pawn shop. The shop owner barely looked at it, offered him pennies. Patrick swallowed hard. Yeah, that'll do." He sold the last good memory he had. For gas money. For one more shot. He got the car barely running and drove to the apprenticeship office. Last day of interviews. He walked in. The receptionist looked up. "We're fully booked, no more openings." Patrick nodded. And then, he sat down in the lobby anyway. Hours passed, employees left. Lights turned off around him. He didn't move. Finally, the program director noticed him sitting there in the dark. "Why are you still here, sir?" Patrick looked up. His voice was steady, quiet, but it didn't waver. "Because my son needs to see me win, just once." She studied him, this broken man who refused to leave, who refused to quit. She nodded slowly. "Come back tomorrow, 6 a.m., one chance, don't be late." Patrick's eyes went glassy, but his jaw set like stone. "I'll be here." 5:12 a.m. Patrick arrived, 48 minutes early. He sat in the hallway rehearsing answers to himself, whispering, preparing, praying. When they called him in, he didn't lie. He didn't polish himself up. He told them everything. The failures, the missed interviews, the eviction, the exhaustion, the shame. But he also told them the truth, that he would never quit, that his son was watching, that he would work harder than anyone they'd ever hired, that he just needed one chance. One shot, that's all. His honesty cut through the room like a knife. They saw something in him, something real. That night, Patrick was cooking boxed mac and cheese in their tiny kitchen when his phone rang. He answered, listened in silence. And then the tears came, silent, unstoppable, streaming down his face as he held the phone to his ear. He got it. He got the apprenticeship. But Patrick didn't celebrate. He didn't shout or pump his fist. He walked quietly into Liam's room and sat on the floor beside his bed. He watched his boy sleep for a long time, then he whispered, voice cracking, "I'm not perfect, kiddo, but I'm never giving up on us. Not ever." Liam stirred, opened his eyes, wrapped his arms around his father's neck, and said the words Patrick needed to hear more than anything in the world. "I knew you'd win, Dad." Patrick held him tight, and for the first time in months, he exhaled. Not triumphantly, not proudly, but gratefully. The next Monday, Patrick walked into that training facility. The sun was rising over Boston Harbor behind him. He looked older than he should. Tired, bruised, worn down by life. But he wasn't broken. He refused to break. Because that's what real strength is. It's not about winning every fight. It's not about never falling down. It's about getting back up. Every single time. No matter how hard they hit you, no matter how many times the world tries to crush you, you get up. You keep moving. You refuse to quit. Not for yourself, but for the people who need you. For the ones who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. Patrick O'Connell won. Not because he was the strongest. Not because he was the smartest. But because when the world told him to stay down, he refused. Tell me how this story made you feel. Like and subscribe for more curious daily stories like this one.